The candle in Evelyn Harper's shaking hand cast long shadows across her bedroom door as thunder rattled the windows of her modest home in the small Montana town of Silver Creek. On the other side stood Dylan Reeves, his cowboy hat clutched in calloused hands, rain dripping from his sandy blonde hair. Those green eyes held secrets that could unravel everything she'd built over the past 4 years as a widow. 4 years of black dresses, quiet church services, and running her feed store with ironclad respectability. But tonight, with the storm raging like a fury from the Rockies, respectability seemed as fragile as the lightning splitting the sky. Dylan's voice cut through the wood, gravelly and urgent. "Evelyn, I can bunk in the shed if you say so." She leaned her forehead against the door, feeling his warmth seep through. By morning, the whole town would whisper. Pastor Jenkins would sermonize about sin. The ladies' quilting circle would spread the scandal like wildfire. And she might finally feel alive again after burying her heart with her late husband. Her fingers hovered over the latch. One turn, and her carefully guarded life would shatter like glass in a hailstorm. 2 months earlier, Silver Creek sprawled under a vast blue sky, a dusty outpost where ranchers swapped stories of the local diner and the railroad brought occasional strangers. Evelyn tallied receipts behind the counter of her feed store, her ledger a fortress against the loneliness that had settled in like Montana frost. The bell jingled, and in walked Tremble, 6 feet of lean muscle in faded jeans and a denim jacket, boots echoing on the plank floor. Dylan Reeves moved with the easy grace of a man who'd tamed wild mustangs. "Ma'am," he said, tipping his hat, his voice carrying a hint of southern drawl from his Texas roots. Evelyn felt a stir she hadn't known in years, quickening in her chest like the first thaw of spring. "Heard you might point me to some land for sale around here." She eyed his hands, strong, scarred from ropes and reins, yet gentle-looking. "The old Miller spread's got 200 acres, solid grazing and a creek," she replied, her tone steadier than her pulse. When their gazes locked, she saw not lust, but a quiet understanding, as if he saw the woman beneath her pinned-up hair and sensible blouse. That Sunday, he slipped into the back pew at First Baptist Church, head bowed during Pastor Jenkins's fiery talk on temptation and redemption. As the congregation sang, "How Great Thou Art," Evelyn felt his eyes on her, warm and insistent, making her voice falter for the first time in memory. After the service, while she straightened hymnals, his boots approached. "Mrs. Harper, that was some fine singing." His respect made her feel valued, not just pitted. September winds carried whispers through Silver Creek. Evelyn noticed the hush that fell when she entered the hardware store, the sidelong glances she received at church. Sheriff Malone started dropping by her feed store more often, his badge gleaming under the lights. "Getting cozy with that wanderer, huh? Man's got no family here, no stake. Makes folks uneasy." Evelyn straightened. "Dylan's a paying customer, sheriff. Nothing more." But it was a lie. He was becoming everything. She started wearing floral prints instead of morning gray, her hair falling in soft waves that caught the sun. The day it all shifted came with a sudden downpour. Evelyn was at the cemetery, tending her husband's grave out of habit more than heartache, when the rain hit like a biblical flood. She dashed to an old barn nearby, only to find Dylan already there, soaked through. Without words, he draped his jacket over her, his body heat lingering in the fabric. In that dim space, with rain pounding the tin roof, he cupped her face. "Evelyn," he whispered, a question in his tone. "Should I go?" "Should you?" she echoed, her voice trembling. His lips met hers soft at first, then fierce, erasing 4 years of isolation. "I'm 45, she murmured, pulling back. "And I'm 30, and I've never felt this way." The kiss deepened, her hands clutching his shirt, tasting rain and desire. But small towns devour their own. Within days, the quilting circle buzzed with outrage, sales at her store plummeted, and kids were shooed away from her porch. The tension boiled over when Sheriff Malone and his deputies cornered Dylan outside the saloon after a few drinks. "Time to hit the trail, Reeves. We don't need drifters preying on widows." Dylan's stance hardened. "Bought land legally, and Evelyn's her own woman. Not in my town," Malone snarled, hand on his holster. Evelyn, watching from afar, saw the spark of violence in their eyes, the kind that could end in bloodshed and heartbreak. The blizzard sealed their fate. Evelyn was stoking her fire when frantic knocking echoed. Dylan stood there, snow-encrusted, his horse lame from a slip. "Can't make the motel." She pulled him in, tending the animal while he warmed by the hearth. As steam rose from his clothes, she studied his profile, the firm jaw, the firelight in his hair. "You should leave," he said, but neither moved. "In this, you'd freeze." The air thickened with unspoken need. Evelyn's fingers undid the buttons on her blouse. 4 years without touch, Dylan. Without feeling wanted. His eyes darkened with hunger. "You're wanted more than you know." He rose, framing her face. "Evelyn, I vow to confess a never. You're my first." The vulnerability hit her hard. "And you're my choice." They tumbled to her bed, his hands reverent on her skin, mapping curves with awe. She guided him, their bodies joining in a rhythm of tenderness and fire. Pleasure surged through her like a wildfire, remaking her from widow to woman anew. Afterward, entwined, he whispered, "I love you no matter what." Dawn brought hell. Mrs. Eleanor Hayes, head of the quilting circle, banged on her door. "Evelyn Harper, your shameless night shames us all." That man slinking out at dawn disgraceful. By noon, her store was a ghost town, the pastor dropping by with judgmental sighs. "This fling with a boy half your age? He's using you." Doubt crept in its gaps, town scorn, her fading youth. That evening, Dylan found her shattered. "This is my fault." "No," she said, but pain twisted her. He pulled her close. "Marry me. We'll build on my land, away from this poison." Before she could answer, Malone burst in with his men. "Well, look who's back. Dug up your past. Reeves trouble in Idaho with a married lady. Left her husband scarred." Dylan tensed. "Lies. I helped her escape abuse. The scars from his knife on me." Evelyn's world spun. "Is it true?" "Not like that," he pleaded. Chaos loomed, guns, accusations. Evelyn stepped between them. "Enough. I'm done with this town." She slammed her store key down. "Take it for your precious circle." To Dylan, "You reminded me I'm alive, but I need to go my way." She fled upstairs, packing amid tears, leaving him devastated. 6 months later, in bustling Missoula, Evelyn ran a thriving tack shop, her life rebuilt on her terms. The Baptist ladies there valued her skills, no questions asked, but nights brought dreams of green eyes. The bell tinkled one day. There stood Dylan, road-weary but determined. "Sold the land. Wasn't home without you." Her heart raced. "Ow." Mrs. Hayes tipped me off. She hated Malone's bullying. He knelt, ring in hand. "I love you." "Malone's gone," voted out. "The town's moved on. Marry me." Tears fell. The age difference, the scandals feed fueled endless debates in her mind, frustrations that made her question everything. But here clarity hit. "Yes, Dylan. Yes." They wed that summer in a simple ceremony, building a ranch together. Scandals faded. Love endured. Evelyn found peace in his arms, proving second chances heal deepest wounds. What do you think? Share in the comments. Do age gaps in love bother you? Or is it all about connection? Take a stand should society, but out of personal romances? Let's hear your views.